do it like this. Well, Jamaica is an island, me say, under the sun. And that's how we're born, but we're heritage strong. Washington, now with me living at the heart of Babylon. The world can hear me hardcore slang, so sing along. Y-A-R-D-C-O-R-E.
Well, my name is Edley Shine, known famously as one half of the group Born Jamericans from the 90s, and I'm from Washington, D.C., Uptown to be exact. Well, how I got my start as a dancehall artist is that even though DC isn't known for dancehall, DC is one of the main touring hubs for all reggae artists that come from Jamaica and assimilate to the States or get their papers to tour in the US, United States. So growing up in DC, my uncle owned a sound system called Emperor Sound, and that's how I was introduced to dancehall culture through my uncle Freddie Dredd and the whole Emperor family, as well as my father owned a record store in suburban Maryland called Music Box. So he was one of the major distributors of reggae music back in the late 80s, early 90s, before, you know, a lot of other things took place as far as reggae. And reggae always been a part of my life. You know, I used to go down on the monument. They used to have reggae in the park every year. And that's where I saw people like, you know, Bunny Wailer and Dennis Brown and a lot of artists from back in the days came to DC to perform. So music, that's been a big part as far as the culture of DC, as well as hip hop. You know, growing up in America, I was exposed from Run DMC, Melly Mel, I'm as old as hip hop. So hip hop been a part of my life since I was born. So that's where I got the two influences. I think when coming up around a sound, it just gives you a sense of pride. And that's my connection, like growing up and learning and going through all the things I've went through as far as in music. My connection with sound system is what gives me my pride towards my culture and my heritage and my family that's still in Jamaica to this day. Because everything from how they talk, how they walk, what they do for a living, the music itself, you know, everything I learned and picked up from listening to cassettes and hearing my uncles talk about what's going on in Jamaica and their lyrics. And, you know, I knew steamed fish and banana and yam is the things you put in your body to sustain yourself. Like all of this stuff, just hearing these lyrics and hearing these vibes and the music and the vibes and seeing the reaction of the people when certain songs get played, all of that came from sound system culture to me. And then I made the connection because I always related sound system more to my Jamaican side of the family. But as I started seeing hip hop evolve from the late 70s and the 80s, I've always realized they had a similarity, but then come to find out that sound system culture and Jamaican culture is what gave hip hop the ideal to become what it is today. So it all correlated in developing my love for the music and me wanting to blend both sides of myself and let them live in harmony. And I think, you know, just judging by the fan base that we have out here now, you know, I have the best of both. I've been in desolate places, like I've been in Black River in Jamaica, and a dread come up to me and be like, yo, my youth, me used to see her as a youth on the TV, and remember them tune there, and we used to live at Brooklyn, and we used to see her on BET. Just, so it always gave me a connection with Jamaica and my heritage, being part of a sound. Plus, I love sound clash. I love the competitive nature of it.
Everybody will love God 200 of the years, so make a bless the dancer.
Well, this is Emperor Sound. And this is the flame with the fire we can't tame representing to the...
Pussy, make a teacher all for playing at the DMV.
God bless.
All God bless.
Amen.
Make me bless the dance.
Sing great.
And my family always been involved with the sound clashes and doing their thing with that, win, lose, or draw. So all of those things just built my character growing up. I used to hear Yellow Man, I used to hear Lone Ranger. This is early when I'm just a kid listening to cassettes. You know, my uncle, they would go to New York and come back and have Jaro cassettes and have different things. And, you know, I can remember Yellow Man, I can remember Lone Ranger, like lyrics like, I am going home on the morning train. And hearing people DJ over the taxi rhythm. I used to love the taxi rhythm when I was younger. Like, that was one of my favorite rhythms, so.
Lord of mercy,
Hey, Lord of His mercy, Lord of mercy. Driver.
I would say Lone Ranger, Yellow Man. Then when I saw Shabba come out, this was in, like 85, 86, I heard Shabba. And Shabba was just I never heard anybody DJ like that.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling, sing. Band silent swing, sing. DJ ear stuck up in the beer bum rhythm, sing. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, sing. Gold bell a ring, sing. Knife and fork a fine for dumpling. Booyaka, booyaka, for Shabba ranking. Shabba rocks disappear with every another man change. So them are the done to the biz. We have the key, put the down to the key and turn them in a donkey.
His aggression, and he was more on the girls' tip. Then I started hearing Ninja Man and started hearing the new wave of them switching from the 80s type of dancehall to the late 80s and early 90s.
Ninja man a ninja, me no Honda, me no Yama. Ninja man a ninja, no Suzuki, no Katana. Ninja man a ninja, me a no police, me a no soldier, me a the general, me a no push over.
Then when I heard Buju and Terra Fabulous and all of these guys, I was just like, it was intimidating hearing them because not only did they have the delivery and the aggression.
I'm a living while I'm living, to the Father I will pray. Only Him know how we get through every day. Only I in the price, I'm a live we have to pay. While our leaders play.
Their content, their lyrics, the stuff they was putting in the music, I was just like, yo, Jamaicans not thinking normal anymore. When I started hearing, and then Dave Kelly with his production, with all the different rhythms that he was coming out and how he was dropping it, and everybody's song was a hit on the rhythm.
Yo, something come out of go on and take man to squat. Bad man. Yeah, if I fussy all not like it, your mama can't.
Tell them say me don't know the fuss, say them not like me. Say them all hype up, but that still not spite me. But man I cut and got you because I love in my heart. And I'm
Baby, say, Kalanga, girl, you might compatible and your cute man a pressure them case.
All of those things inspired me, and I'm just like, yo, it didn't seem as easy back then to be an artist than it is right now. Now it seems more easier because there's so much blueprints laid. But back then, you couldn't compete with a Spraga Benz or a Buju Banton or a Bounty Killer or a Beanie Man. They just seemed larger than life. They seemed like some demigods. So all of those things, from the early time to growing up through the 90s, those are the things that made me want to be the artist that I am today.
warning, all those who have been yawning. Kids from foreign coming down in the early morning. Just so the Dan Gaga with them car Ellie. The only design the other side of me. Now some of them wonder what is the bomb shock attack. We have come down with the sun and truck back. As the kids them come watch him now. Here it is. As the kids them pop it off.
The wickedest time me have a girl like come. Born Jamericans get ready to press done. Now put it down, yeah. Papa make it standing, yeah. Sometimes coffee, sometimes tea. You know say Born Jamericans a celebrity. We ram dance a town and in the country.
So Born Jamericans was a group. It comprised of myself, Edley Shine, the DJ or rapper for American people, and then you had a singer called Mr. Nash. Nash is from Connecticut, and he's of Puerto Rican descent, and his father is from Jamaica. So we met in Washington, D.C. at my father's record store, and we had a mutual, bond as far as music. Him growing up in the States, having a Jamaican background. Myself as well, loving hip hop, loving roots, rock, reggae, loving dancehall. So when we came together, we just started messing around with his singing and my DJing. And I've always been a good writer, a good conceptualizer. So, I kind of pitched some concepts to him as far as, hey, we the kids from foreign. We can't try to emulate what's going on in Jamaica because we don't live in Jamaica. Jamaica is a whole different lifestyle, whole different mentality. But what we are descendants of that. So we can put that and portray that in our music. So that's how we came up with the moniker Born Jamericans, because we didn't want to fool anybody into thinking that we were some Jamaican artists living in America when we're actually American kids doing reggae and dancehall and hip hop. So that's how the group basically came together.
We up here with In the Hood Hip Hop Forum. I got the Born Jamericans here. You just tell me your name again. Yo, this is the Edley Shine. Thank you. This one actually seen that thing about Jamaica. Put some fun. Hip Hop Forum.
Notch was going through a couple ideals, and at the time when we was in Jamaica, there was a song called Mr. Luxury by Ronnie Twait.
The wickedest time when rain start fall, the girl them start to ball. Una send telegram, them a make phone call, yeah.
And we was hearing that song everywhere. It was big, but it was only grassroots big on the Caribbean scene. It hadn't crossed over to America. So in the midst of doing the demo for Boom Shaka Talk, my part was already laid. Notch laid his version of Mr. Luxury for the demo, just to let the label hear, because the label, we had a single deal. The single was going to qualify us to get our album. So basically, make a long story short, we kept the Mr. Luxury ideal on there, and we cleared the sample. We had to clear the Real Rock. We had a Lou Donaldson sample in there. There was like 3 samples that we had to clear. We cleared all the samples. Label said, hey, if you sell 50,000, we'll exercise the option for an album deal. I think Boom Shaka Talk sold 75,000 like in the first 3 weeks. As soon as it got released on 12-inch and went to VP and went to all the reggae outlets, and we did the video. We actually went to Jamaica, downtown on Orange Street. That was my first time ever going downtown Jamaica and seeing the marketplace and seeing all the shops and everything. Because every time I would go visit Jamaica, my family would never carry me downtown out to the ghettos or the garrison. I basically stayed around the house and stayed in the neighborhood. So that was my first time seeing down there. But that song just took off, and from there, we never looked back. And the funny thing is, people had it to say, there was an article in Vibe magazine that said that we stole Mr. Luxury from Ronnie Twait. But if you do the math on that melody of Mr. Luxury, it's actually from Wayne's Wonder Forever Young single, which is a melody interpolation of Bryan Adams' Forever Young. So that's the melody chain that came from that. But we still paid Ronnie Twait for using his Mr. Luxury pattern.
Days gone by,
Baby love,
and I wonder why I'm in love with you.
lovely.
A lot of this TV shows we did, in Living Color, Robin Townsend show, doing things. There was actually a movie in the works about our life, and just us being on a record company that was based in California exposed us to a lot of people in Hollywood that probably didn't even listen to reggae. I hear a lot of people tell me I didn't even listen to reggae music till I listened to Born Jamericans. So just having those experiences, I'm the first reggae artist to ever do a song with Stevie Wonder.
Yo, everything is lovely, so don't put your trust in all the false prophecy. This is the Edley Shine on Stevie, you might wonder. Stand firm to all those who feel concerned. Cause when you can't see the light, you must see the Robinson fly. Life is just a matter of time and space. So all those who have to face sorrow shall only have to wait till tomorrow. Big things are going this year, so if you drop it in a gear, come cross us a Stevie Wonder. Watch it.
Now where do I start to make the point that I'll be making? To most efficient use your time that I'll be taking. With that clear understanding, every ticking second is precious to us all.
Others have come after me, but just a lot of ground was broken with us, humbly, because we weren't the biggest reggae group in the world. We didn't sell millions of records, but the impact and the gates that we kicked open for the genre, no one can deny it. It's all documented. And just going through that experience of leaving DC, I had never left DC and went to the West Coast. And all I knew of the West Coast was NWA and Ice-T and the movie Colors. So just actually being there, waking up and looking up at the Hollywood sign and saying, yo, just my culture and my heritage and the things that I love doing growing up got me this far. And people actually paying me to DJ over rhythm, something I've been doing for free all my life. Like, that was just one of the most incredible experiences. I can't take it away. It's like I had an incredible college journey. That's what it felt like.
I just the kids from foreign, how them I go manage, 9 inches of lead, how to do damage. The head for the microphone, them have to respect that. The lesson definition of the Boom Shaka Talk. The kids for the microphone, me now lay down flat.
Our accomplishments started in 1993. We got a record deal with Delicious Vinyl. At the time, Delicious Vinyl was one of the biggest independent labels in the United States. They had artists like Tone Loc, Young MC, They had the Far Side, brand new heavies. And for us, you know, just coming in, reggae music was at the cusp of breaking internationally. You had Shabba Ranks, you had Patra, you had Mod Cobra with Flex, Shaggy was coming through, Buju Banton, Terra Fabulous. All of these artists were getting major deals on major international labels.
Lord, you me tell a girl flicks, time to have sex. Long time you have the road boy, you a sweet girl flicks. Time to have sex. Look how long you have the road boy, you sweet her away.
But there was no representation of a group, a youth group with a youth movement in reggae music. So when the label heard our music, they said, you guys fill a niche in the genre that's not really being exploited. There's always been singer and DJ combinations in reggae music, but there has never been one full movement. But when Born Jamericans came through,
The wickedest time, me and my girl like Born Jamericans, we pretty place done. Now put it down, yeah. Papa make it handing, yeah. Sometimes coffee, sometimes tea. You know, say Born Jamericans a celebrity. We ram dance a town and in the country. And all the girls, we say them love we, yeah. Look how the girls, them nice and sweet. The gravity, gravity, with the underneath. We want it every day. Not to mention the weed.
Say reggae music round the world, we respect that. Cause every time we touch the mic, them screaming boom shakata. Crowd a massive gets the vibe.
but I guess our first song, Boom Shakatak, there's so much dimensions to it, and there's so many layers of how it was created. First of all, you know, the reason why we even have our sound, which was a blending of hip hop and reggae, because we went to Jamaica when we first got our deal, because we were still under the mindset that, hey, it has to start on the rock. It has to start where reggae music come from. Even though we're American kids assimilating to Caribbean culture, that's a part of us, but we're doing their music. So it's only right we go break bread with them first. But when we went down to Jamaica, you know, I think our first producer we approached was Bobby Digital, and his mom had just passed, so he wasn't working at the time. We went to Steely and Clevie, Sly and Robbie, a whole bunch of people, and they were kind of like, they were interested, but that still their approach was, let's see what happened with you guys. I don't know about two Yankee kids doing reggae and dancehall. We don't know how that's going to work. Even though we had the money to pay them to work, it was just like, it wasn't that immediate urgency for them to work with us. So just being down there, we said, yo, we're gonna take it back home. We linked up with a producer by the name of Chucky Thompson. If you don't know who Chucky Thompson is, he was a bad boy hitman, but before he signed to Puffy and went on to produce Notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige and Craig Mack and all these big artists, he worked with Born Jamericans. We were his actual first placement. So we said, hey, we're gonna take the best of what we know, hip hop, and we're gonna take these rhythms that we know that work in the Caribbean, like the real rock and the Stagalog and the Trident rhythm, and all these rhythms that became our first album, and had him just program it, hip hop elements with the raw reggae dancehall feel. And then I did the writing. I came up with the concept, Boom Shakatak.
Reggae music round the world, we respect that. Cause every time we touch the mic, them screaming boom shakata. Crowd a massive gets the vibes. We're on orthodox. This is a lesson definition of the boom shakata. Nobody rider, tear up the girl picnic. And hot boy, I beat down the one selector. We'll up that. They try to get the verbs, the action word drop down. Now we're up next time to make this one rise up.
The most important lesson I learned is that, because of going through being in the group, we always had a chip on our shoulder, like, yo, Jamaica have to rate us. If we not rated in Jamaica, then there's no validity to what we're doing. You know, we got to go down Jamaica and hear our music on Fame and Zip and get covered by the Jamaican media. But growing up in it and going through the process, I learned that Jamaica is for Jamaica, and Jamaicans have their own mind state and the way they view the world and the way they view people that assimilate to their culture, and it's levels to it. They have a certain affinity for the Europeans because the Europeans put certain capital back into Jamaica. They have an affinity for the Asian community because the Asian community put capital back in reggae and dancehall. America is more of a give and take with an American trying to do dancehall or reggae, or trying to do dancehall and reggae from America. It's more of a slippery slope because, for one, we're in the same hemisphere. So they feel like, before I used to hear, yo, true, wanna have the little foreign thing and the little foreign twang. That's why y'all getting over. And that's why certain people rating you, even though you not come down to Jamaica and get the acid test and go up on stage and stand in the studio and have to go bar for bar with artists that we know wickeder than Uno. But it's not necessarily the case. Music is more than just the talent that you have. It's your marketing, it's your business, it's the game plan that you put forth. And us being in America and us going through the trials and tribulation of having to win over the Caribbean community, as well as make a name for ourselves and put numbers on the board, because a record deal, you have to put numbers on the board.
Physical fit is the kid when me start to release. Me grab the microphone and chop and make me dollars increase. Sexy girls to the front. I mean the healthy young man and me will surely get a remedy. One by one, Born Jamericans is the group. From the streets of Washington, when up, people smoke crack and dread. Fire the M1.
It's like getting a divorce. It's like you being with your parents and then they tell you, yo, you can't live here no more. You gotta go to a foster home. Because not only did the group break up, the label dropped me. And they left me to fend for myself on my own. You know, there was no support there as far as, because I went to them, I'm like, all right, the singer went off, no communications, I don't know where he is, what he's doing. So can I get in the studio with some producers? And back then I was more loyal to the group than I was loyal to myself. And people didn't know, like, all of the monikers of the group, most of the writing for the group was me. And I never used to talk like that. But now I realize in business, you have to let people know what your position is in the business and where you stand. In every company, there's the CEO, there's the financier, there's all these components that make the company work. So, and if you don't let your role be known within that company, you might just be just another employee. And I was definitely, when that happened, it let me know that any situation I put myself in, it's not selfish to put yourself first and let people know what your name is and why you're on the marquee and what you're contributing to the situation. So I learned that going through that whole process of not being in the group, not having the label support, not being on tour, not making money, and having to go back on my grind. So, but I made it through and I'm still here, and I'm able to do videos and make music and have my own studio and do things on my own. And still, I'm not getting the support like back then, but I'm still able to touch people around the world right from my house. So it's cool. It's a learning experience. There was a certain loyalty that I had to the situation, and never be loyal to a situation more than you're loyal to yourself.
Like Solomon, I need more than one wife, eh? Believe that.
And my paper's up, so bring all of them to me.
Mama Africa got 54 countries, and I need one from them all.
I think the artistry of it has became, it's a lot less complex, but it's still complicated, because I think it more went from lyrics and delivery and high voice sound and being unique to what type of vibe you have and what type of feeling you put to your songs. So I feel like the youth, the younger artists, even the ones you mentioned, a lot of them are still real keen on lyrical content, but a lot of them put more feel and vibes into what they're doing.
Bubble your body for the up top boss. Scope on my clap. Some gun sound on my clap.
The production has also changed a lot because technology has made it easier to make rhythms. You know, you just need a laptop, 2 plugins and some good ideas, and still a musical sense to make the rhythms, but at the same time, it's a lot easier to do it. So I think with all the transition of technology and just the approach, a lot of people don't write no more. They just go in the studio, you know, bun them liquor ziggy, drink them brown, and they just vibe, and whatever comes out, comes out. Some people are good at it better than others. But at the same time, I think it's not a lot of classical music being made. I think it's music being made for a time period. That time period could be 2 weeks or a couple months. But I'm not hearing the classic songs that 10 years from now I want to listen to again.
Wait the sound and tell the people about the musical dish coming your way.
that's the transition I'm kind of worried about, where dancehall has become cash and carry now instead of laying the foundation for the next generation the way it was before. My advice to any artist is pick a lane for yourself and carve your niche in that lane. Don't try to assimilate to what's going on or copy anything that you see, especially in dancehall, because there's nowhere more innovative than Jamaica. There's a star being born in Jamaica every day. And they put, because of their poverty level and the things that a Jamaican person have to go through growing up, their hunger, their drive, their creativity, you would have to be going through that same channel and that same school to match their level of artistry. So it's best you learn from them and observe them and take pieces of what you can assimilate to, but at the same time, carve your own lane as an artist and make your own fan base.
Go on with it, go on with it. Yo, is it? Are you kidding me? To us, yeah. So we are coming with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, in a rise and boast.
Don't try to gain other people's fan base or emulate what's going on per se with another artist in Jamaica. To me, that's the biggest mistake I see a lot of young artists make. Now, for Dua, Guan, and Jamaica, but it's not necessarily the case. Reggae music is worldwide. I've been to the four corners of the earth. I've seen from the most minuscule skill set artists to the baddest lyricists ever. And to me, the people who have everything covered is the ones who get the most success in what they're doing.
And the big vibe, reaching out. Yeah, yeah, man. Right now we are moved on a whole different mission. A new life, so a more ambition. Tell them it's a big man thing. We used to shell down the bar and be the life for the party, but now I gotta live for my shorty. Tell them it's a big man thing. We used to get enough gal and have them all in a bundle. Get no wife, no may have to live humble. Tell them it's a big man thing.
How the single came about, I was in the studio. And, I think it was the day my wife just told me that she was pregnant. And I was like, wow, I'm about to be a dad. And this is something that I've had on pause for years. Like, I was like, I got to finish my journey in music and attain certain things and have the house on the hill in Jamaica and a couple cars and a couple equity stakes and a couple companies and everything before I have a kid, because I do not want to bring a kid into the world with the same circumstances that I have. But then it just got real. I was married, I got married, and I was about to have a kid, and I said, yo, it's just time to just evolve and make the switch. It's not going to be the perfect scenario that you want, but big man thing, this is what you got to live for now. You got to live for your family and your daughter, and you got to leave a legacy for your daughter where she don't look at the book of her dad and see, oh, when Born Jamericans broke up and the singer broke off from him, he never did music again. He quit. He failed. No, she have a whole nother body of work and 20 more years of seeing me grind, doing remixes and doing songs and coming out and seeing other people learn who her father was. So even at this time, she's 3 years old, she looks through my phone and she sees pictures of like me doing shows. She says, Daddy, you a star. And I was like, I say, yeah, in some places, people love what your dad does. Not everywhere, but some places you say your dad's name and it's going to ring bell. And I just want to instill that legacy in her so she know that, hey, anything you're doing in life is going to be hills, valleys, mountains. Some people going to rate you, some people not going to rate you, but never give up on what you're doing and have a passion for what you love.
Make a better life. Hustle, hustle. Me a hustle from me I'm 6 years old. Me have 13 paper road. You see me? Hustling. Edley Shine. Sean Don. Mad Spider, Mad Spider. Go on my own, go on my own. Hustle rhythms. And that me a talk about. Jamaican hustle.